Hi, folks. Before we start the episode today, I just wanted to offer a correction really quick. ZMainCharacter, our guest today, goes by they, them pronouns. I've known them for a very long time before this was a active usage of pronouns. And in the very beginning of the episode, I misgendered them and we corrected it and moved on. And throughout the rest of the episode, kept the correct gender pronouns. But I felt that rather than re-record the intro, it would be worthwhile for people to see me stumble, see me correct myself, and then continue forward. Z and I both had a little discussion about this, and we both agreed this is the way to go forward. We are still very, very good friends, and I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Thanks. Casual Magic has been sponsored by Quiver, maker of the Quiver and Bolt deck cases and other fine deck holding accessories. Use the code CASUAL on their website for 10% off your order. We're also sponsored by Architect, the premier site for hosting your decks on the internet. I love them and they love me, and it seems like a good reason for you to use them. You can also support Casual Magic directly by going to our Patreon at patreon.com/ShivanB. And now, on with the show. Hello and welcome to Casual Magic, the show where we talk about the fun side of Magic the Gathering. My name is Shivam Bhatt, and Casual Magic is brought to you by Architect and Quiver and my patrons at patreon.com/ShivanB. Today I have a very special guest, one of my very, very dear friends who has become her own level of superstar in our community. Their own,
Yeah,
that's fine. Sorry, I've just known you for a long time.
yeah.
But ZMainCharacter, Z, who has been a friend of mine since, I don't know. I'm just very glad that I helped get you back into Magic. And
Yes.
like your ex-boyfriend and a dear friend of mine, who was like, I think the first guest on this show, Andrew, brought you over one day. And since then, you've gone on to become a comet in our space, and I love it.
Yeah, you really got to see like all of like my growing pains with becoming like a Magic the Gathering content creator. And
Yeah.
like when we first met, like I was still so crestfallen about playing Magic.
Yeah,
And like
can you explain that? Because I think it's an interesting story, at least.
yeah, it's so bad when I think about it, especially
Yeah,
like with
it's
where
really
Magic is now. But when I first started getting into Magic, my very first hand of Magic was in like 2009. I'm like, whoa, this is really cool. I don't understand it. We'll figure it out later.
yeah.
And my partner way back then got me into Magic. Um, and the way that they taught me Magic was very brutal and very, very like unfair. Essentially, where they would like teach me like one aspect, I'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm finally learning." They're like, "Sweet, I'm going to play a deck that directly counters what I just taught
Oh
you, so
god,
you'll
it's
never
so
actually win
annoying.
and never like learn." And so he had these group of friends that like he would play with, and it would be playing for ante essentially. Like whoever like lost first, like you had to give up parts of your deck to these people. And I thought that was magic. I thought that
I
was
mean, it
magic.
was in 1994.
Where it's just like it was like just so mean and rude. Nobody was fun to play with. And like I put in like so much passion and like money into like building a collection that like kept on like getting dwindled down little by little. Um and I remember like removing myself from that group. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to like visit like some LGSs. And like when Commander like first came out in like 2011, 2012, and those nights started. I think the first time I tried Friday Night Magic was in like 2013, 2014. And I walked in with my Commander deck, and it was an Orzhov deck. It wasn't good at all. And like you can just see and feel everyone just turning away from me.
Oh, jeez.
And I like was just like trying to figure out like how do I approach these tables? I was filled with anxiety. And then I overheard this group of dudes just being like, wow, like women suck at playing Magic. And they responded, and then somebody responded with, well, she doesn't suck to look at, so I guess I'll play with her.
Oh my god. Holy crap. Like, the thing is, it's like, it shouldn't be surprising because I've seen that happen to women infinite trillion times in my own presence. And it's just like, what kind of people are just not trained as children anymore. And it's just like, what kind of behavior is this? It's so,
Yeah.
it's like, that's not how you act with humans. Come on.
It was so bad. So I lost a lot of my collection, and I just gave up on it. I'm like, "I can't do this anymore." I was, like, actually, like, pretty emotionally traumatized from
Yeah,
the
I
game,
remember.
and, like, I just didn't wanna play with it anymore, and then I met Andrew, through the metal scene because, like, I used to own a cafe,
Oh,
and
yeah,
I
like, we
would
should go into your actual background because I think a bunch of people only know you as, like, a TikToker and don't realize that you've been, like, an insanely, successful small business person for a very long time.
Yeah, so it was so I gosh, this is so crazy. So I
But you had a
first
tea shop, didn't you?
I no, I helped
Oh,
tea shops around, but I had a cafe and roastery up in, Emerald Hills, which is Redwood City of the Bay Area,
mm.
and, I started working in coffee when I was, like, 16 and, like, just worked my way up and ended up becoming an owner of this small cafe and roastery via sweat equity, which, side note, I beg of everybody who's thinking about doing sweat equity to, like, earn a spot as ownership.
Do you wanna explain what that means?
Yes, so sweat equity is essentially, I am too poor to financially buy into being a CEO of a business, so I will buy in via work.
Mm,
I will create essentially enough like profits and improvements through my efforts that I will earn essentially a portion of this business.
mm.
And like that sounds great and everything. It is so, I guess, obtuse. It's too hard to necessarily pin down in legal speak for it to be
Yeah.
truly like beneficial to you. And so you will be very exploited by anybody who is willing to go with that partnership.
Yeah, because they
Um,
don't have to pay you. So it's
Yes,
like,
exactly. Well, they do have to pay you. So they pay you like a base wage because you are doing work, but then like your wage is like slightly subsidized by like incremental percentages. As you like, you could say if we reach these milestones, I'll get like this amount of like ownership and whatever. Um,
jeez.
and so, like, it was very, very hard. Like, I would work, like, 100-hour weeks. I would end up sleeping in my cafe. And I was very young and dumb, so I got into ownership when I was 20, and, the bar next door was constantly giving me beer, so I was drinking illegally in my own cafe, like,
Oh god.
overnight as I was roasting. Um, and so I it was still very valuable information of, like, not necessarily, like work ethic, but what I'm capable of. So that
Yeah.
was the most valuable thing that I was able to get, and it's still that cafe still exists to this day. I left because, like, I couldn't stand my partners anymore, they kept on making very silly decisions, and they kept on putting so much work on me. I remember, like, they would go on vacations over to Europe, and finally I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna take 3 days off, that's my prerogative, all these shifts are covered, here's the schedule, here's what needs to be done, see you all later." And I told this to one of my co-owners, and he didn't communicate that to my other co-owner. So my other co-owner thought I had just disappeared for 3 days and everything went to shit.
Ah.
And I'm like, "Nope, we're done here. We're
Yeah, no, thank you, GG's PO.
yeah,
That's
this is
none of
not
that.
worth it. It's cool to be an entrepreneur and to have my own coffee brand and everything.
Been there, done that, great,
Yeah,
love
call
it,
it
bye.
quits." But one of my favorite things to do is that I was very into metal at the time. So when like certain bands would be coming in or certain festivals be coming in, I would bring coffee for them and like provide them coffee in the green room.
Mm.
And that's essentially how I met Andrew. And Andrew was like, "Hey, I heard you play Magic." I'm like, "Maybe."
Sure.
Kind of not. So this was like god, like 2017-ish that this started happening, and, like, he kept on
Mm.
being like, "Let's play Magic, let's play Magic." I'm like, I don't know. I don't I don't really have a deck anymore." And he's like, "That's fine, like, we could build a deck together." I'm just like, "Okay." Like, Andrew, like,
Yeah,
absolute,
I
like,
love
joy,
just
excited
like
kinda
a big
guy.
sheepdog.
Yes!
He's so loving and kind, and that made it easy for people to take advantage of him.
Yeah.
But,
Ugh.
yeah, like, because I met him right around that time too, because he was one of Olivia's friends, Olivia Gilbert queen of Commander and queen of introducing people to people who would be their friends. But yeah, like the three of us, me, Olivia, and Andrew, went in a van from the Bay to GPLA or whatever it was
Oh
in
my
2016,
gosh.
2017, and that's how I became friends with that like whole crew. And they like it was amazing, phenomenal group of
Yeah,
people.
I just absolutely amazing people that I still look up to this day. But he essentially had to like rehabilitate me into playing Magic, and then I remember him being like, "Hey." I want you to meet my friend Shivam. I'm like, oh, like I'm still not very good at the game. Like I'm a little like wary about these things. Like, am I gonna lose my deck that we just built? He's like, no, that's not how you like, that's awful. That's not how you play magic. I'm like, that's not how you play magic. And like, no,
No.
no, that's not magic. I'm like, what? I thought, huh?
I need you to know that when he was bringing you over to my house, because I'd invite you guys over to hang out and play games or something, and he was like, "Look, I need you to know that Z is delicate about this and has had a lot of trauma and a lot of problems with magic historically, and so we're trying to, you know, make this an easy re-entry way, and I need you to be cool about this." And I'm like, "Bro, I am the coolest in the world when it comes to just being very chill and gentle with people, so
Yeah.
it's fine." But like, I really appreciate. I'm like, wow, that is some level of concern that I have not seen from people in a hot minute. And I was like, all right, I don't know how this is
Mhm.
gonna go, but I mean, I'm going to be a nice person, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I still remember I think I was playing Miriam that day.
Yes,
Yes, I was playing a really bad dragon deck.
you still trounced us because Miriam's just strong.
Yeah, true, exactly. I just remember you going through your deck being like, "Why don't you have enough dragons?" I'm like, "Oh, it just does the thing. It's good. It's fun." And it's just like through all those instances, like you and Andrew and meeting people like that, like not only rehabilitated me with magic, but like rehabilitated me as a person because like I had just kept on meeting like terrible, terrible people over and over again. And so like I started closing myself off to the world. And that's kind of why I went into like being an entrepreneur because like I could just be on my literal like little mountain away from people just working
Fair.
hours at a time. Um and when I started feeling that, like, little light come back into me, I'm just like, "Oh my god, like, this is important. I'm meeting people, like, I'm having a good time, like, I feel joy, I feel laughter, like, I need to keep this going somehow."
Yes.
I'm just like, I wanna show other people out there that this is magic, this is people, this is the world. And so I had always been creating content in one form or other, whether it was for my coffee shop or I had started making, funny content for Andrew and his band at the time,
Hmm.
and, like, they did really good. They all
Yeah.
those things did really good, like, people got laughs out of it, I would help him with, like, creating, like, flyers or things for his streams, and I did that for other people too, so I was constantly outsourcing my efforts of content creation to other people, and then one day I'm just like, "Well, what if I do it for myself?"
It's like the grand light bulb has just been sitting there going like, "Hello, hello."
Yeah. And so, like, I also had, this group of friends, um, that, like, I would be messaging, like, my own little skits to, and I would only show it to them. It was Pedro and Amber, it was only them in our little group chat, specifically my friend Amber, and they were like, "You gotta start doing this stuff." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. It's kinda bad." They're like, "What, we love you, like, we think this is so funny, like, please start doing this stuff." And this is unfortunately going to get a little sad, so prepare yourself. My friend Amber, she was the one that was constantly messaging me, and she believed in me so much, and she very much like Andrew and you, like, rehabilitated me in, like, believing into the world again.
Hmm.
And she's like, "I wanna see you shine, you have so much that you can give to the world." And I'm like, "Well, that's the problem I have, and, like, the world hasn't necessarily given back to me." She's like, "You just do it." Um, and so I was still messaging her, I would message her almost, like, every single day, and then all of a sudden I got a message from my friend Pedro in that group chat saying, "Hey, Amber passed away."
Oh no.
And it was completely sudden. Um, and I have the deepest regret. I'm gonna end up crying, so prepare for that. Because she believed in me so much and wanted to see me thrive so much, and she never got to see that.
That is like that's like such a hero story though, right? Like your guru comes and teaches you the way, and then they pass on and let you grow into being Luke Skywalker or whatever it is, and they don't get to
Yeah.
see you blossom, but it's because of that push that you got to grow at all.
Mhm.
And
So
like
my
that is like such a fundamental and important part of our growth as humans.
Yeah, it's like her
I'm
energy
not saying your
really
mentor
s
needs to die, but I'm just
Oh,
saying
yeah,
like
your mentor
sometimes it
doesn't
just
need to die,
yeah,
but,
but sometimes it just this is the way of the world.
Yeah, and so,
Mm.
like, that was very hard for me to accept of just, like, feeling that regret with not doing that with her, so, finally and Andrew saw this happen, I was just like, I'm just going to make one of my funny videos about magic, and I'm going to send it out into the world, in her name, because she always
Mm.
wanted to see that. And I sent out my very first video was just me talking about counter spells because, of course.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
uh,
I told
oh,
you.
no, no, I didn't.
God,
Talking
dude.
about beeping counter spells, please.
Okay, fine. Go ahead.
um,
Goodness.
and it did really well. And like this is for like an account that had like maybe like I think maybe at the time I had like 1,000 followers just from like friends and whatever, and like it got to like 15,000 views.
Yeah.
And people found it like really funny. And like all of a sudden, like Joe Johnson reached out, was like, this is hilarious. I'm like, what? What are you talking? What are you in my comment section for? Like, this is crazy. And I'm like, well, maybe I should make another one. And from there, and then like it just started spilling
Yeah,
over.
because that was the thing is like there was some short form funny videos in Magic at that time,
Mhm.
like Remy, the guy who does all those song parodies or whatever. And like there were some others, there were not many though. And
Mhm.
like especially like a lot of Magic had not gone to video content yet, or like to things like TikTok or Instagram or whatever it was. And so like this was so novel and funny, and you're also good at them, which helps. It's like if you're not good, then it'll be a splash in the pan and then it'll keep going. But no, you had the juice, which was hilarious.
Yeah, and it was just amazing to feel, but really back then there really wasn't any like short form little funny skits. Like the only person that was really doing it was MTG Baron, who like I looked up to him so much with creating short form
Mm,
content. And then like little by little, like a little group of like short form Magic the Gathering content creators started happening, and it started blossoming. I'm just like, oh my god, this is
hmm,
so much fun.
hmm.
This is
Yeah.
so funny. Like it is so interesting to be able to communicate like the joy or funny moments that you get to have that you live for with playing Magic with other people in like just a short little skit.
Yeah. And that's
It's
hard to do.
yes.
It is very, very hard to like. I hang out with Loading Ready Run a lot, and they are some of the most consummate jokesters in Magic. And having watched them work and try to come up with these skits or things, it's like it is insanely hard to be funny. And then on top of that, to be funny about Magic in a way that people will understand and get immediately is like it's tricky, man. It's real, real tricky. It yeah, but like I don't know, your expressions are the thing that make it, because like you have really you with the most respect I can say, your face is very plastic and you can make it
Yes.
do all sorts of wobbly things, and it's really funny.
That was so I have been raised in haunted houses. And so
Mm.
like this is going somewhere, I promise. So you really have to be comfortable with making just really weird faces.
Yeah.
And like I had grown up being like an absolute like jokester like my entire life. Like I used to be part of a Girl Scout group, and like we had like our own like, nicknames, and I was nicknamed the party animal because I would be constantly doing just something just to get a laugh out of people.
Mm.
And so I've had a lot of practice with like just like animating my face essentially, and like watching people of
Yeah.
like animating the face. And it also kind of comes from like a little bit of almost insecurity because like I never wanted to be misunderstood.
Mm.
And so, like, I would be very much, like, accenting everything with the eyebrows and with the eyes,
Yes.
and so the thing is that it's all practice, it's never come naturally to me, and so, like, every now and then, like, I'll just come to, like, the mirror and just be like
Hmm. Mm, for
like
the radio listeners at home, she is definitely like Disney style mugging at the camera.
yeah, I'm, like, stretching the face, like, what can it do, essentially?
Oh yeah.
Um And so, like, it's all practice over and over again, and even then, like, when you see these short little clips, sometimes I've done, like, 40 takes because I'm like, "Nope, nope, that's not it. That's not it. It's not quite right. The eyebrow went the wrong way. Like, gotta go the other way."
Yeah, no, and it's just like I will say this, it's been a real joy to watch, just because like I remember you being like little mousy person coming to my house, and then like suddenly I'm like, here, just have like boxes of my old bulk or whatever the hell. I gave you a lot of cards.
You gave me a lot of
Like
cards, like
thousands.
thousands and thousands of cards. And it's like, despite my expression and everything, sometimes I'm really bad at like showcasing my emotions. So I'm just sitting there, like holding these boxes you gave me in your house, like stifling my tears. It's me like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be standing in your living room sobbing about it. And like, I still use those cards to this day. Like,
Believe
there's
me,
quite a few in my decks.
every now and then I'm like, I need to find a card. Oh.
Yeah. I love how you had to have like a little intervention of friends come
Oh
to your
yeah,
house.
dude. A bunch of my friends came over and spent the afternoon and like purged me of like infinite commons and uncommons. They're like, look, you have a problem and you have a room full of cards. These need to go. Mind you, I haven't refilled all that space. but it was definitely like, it was like, you have a problem. You've got cards coming out of your toilet. We need to stop. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, fine. And I was like, they're like, just leave it on the street corner. I'm like, no, I'll give it to somebody. And so I called you and I just gave you pallets of
Yeah. I was like, Shivam, like when we went back home that night, we spent like the next like 5 days just on the floor piling through the cards. Just being like, we looked like kids in like a sandbox, just
Oh
like
yeah.
just playing with them, just like this is so
Oh
cool.
my god. But yeah, like it just from that and then watching you and you're watching your star just keep climbing and climbing. And I was like, this is so cool. Look at
Yeah.
that. I knew them back in the day and it's amazing. Because like it because like I was already a content creator sort of at that point and like maybe even a known person at that point.
Mhm.
And so it was like it was just neat to sit there. I'm like, well, check it out. It's like watching a seed you plant just grow into this really cool thing, and you're like, "Ah, that's sick." And I'm like, "I'm
Yeah.
not taking credit for anything you did because I'm just like, I don't have the kind of talent, and I think it's sick that you do." But it was more like, "That's so cool. I'm glad that I gave you a confidence boost enough to be able to go off and really blossom it." And that's super awesome.
Well, I mean, that changed everything for me is like having people who were just like in my corner, just being like, hell yeah. And like that small gesture can change everything for one person.
Yeah.
And so like I was at the time like constantly surrounded by people who were like, they would claim that they were in your corner. And then the moment you started like shining or started focusing on yourself, you were suddenly not good enough or it was embarrassing or cringe.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
and like I, still hear from people to this day that were of that past and like, they have nothing good to say, which makes no sense to me. Like I find so much joy and awe and inspiration watching people grow
Yes.
and like do what they love and have fun. And it
Yes.
is the one of the number one things that keeps me going because like I see somebody doing something cool. I'm like, yes,
Yes, right? Like it
yes.
like for instance, the other day I was watching there was a video that came out of Vegas, out of the MagicCon Vegas, where Ben Bateman was sitting there showing off and doing a video showing off the brand new I don't know, draft format, whatever the hell it was. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. But I was like, my first thought was like, hell yeah, Ben, let's go. You got it.
Yes.
You got to do the thing. It's so awesome. It's like that's what it should be. You shouldn't be sitting there going like, "Man, I wish that was me." I mean, you can be that. I definitely was like, "Man, I wish that was me," but it's more like, "But I'm glad it was you." You
Yes.
know? It's
Yeah.
like
And it's like
I'm that's
I this is like the heart of diversity essentially as well of just like seeing other people win.
yeah, it doesn't take anything away from me and it'll maybe eventually help me out. But it's more like it's just like, man, it makes me happy to see people succeed. And
Mhm.
like for instance, when you got into the ambassador program and when you started getting in with like Diana and with Magic and all that, I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. This is what I want. Like, let's do
I
this.
That the ambassador program is the funniest thing because when they messaged me,
Hmm.
I still saw myself as like relatively like small time kind of
Yeah.
like person in this space. And like they messaged me on TikTok. I'm like, oh, this is a scam. Delete. Like, I'm being
Yeah,
scammed
sure,
now.
wizards. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
sure. Wizards of the Coast, I'm sure. Like, and so like I actually deleted that message and then they emailed me and they're like, hey, you haven't responded. And I'm like, okay, I'm messaging
Oh.
all my friends. Hey, did you get this email? Hey, is this like so So I almost completely whiffed
Dude,
on that.
tell me about it. I got the email on my other email address that I use for, like, putting up these casual magic YouTubes, and I hadn't set up a routing to send messages from there to my normal email. So I went through and I was looking and it's like, "Hey, we're from Wizard of the Coast and would like to talk to you. Hey, you haven't responded to us. Hey, hello, are you still there?
Yeah.
Please call." And I'm like, "Oh, uh." Yeah, well, and then, of course, I, like, shot myself in the foot by saying, like, "Look, man, I'm not sure my content's what you want." And they're like, "We'll figure it out." And I'm like, "Why did I say that? You're not supposed
Yeah.
to say that." Like, just when somebody comes to you and says, "Here is thing," you say, "Yes, thank you for thing," not,
Yes.
"Oh, I'm not sure the thing is for me."
Oh,
Just say
that's another one of,
no.
like, my biggest things that I love, I guess, like, telling people is that, like, a lot of people were like, "Well, I don't know if I can do this thing." I'm like, "Just try.
Yeah, like,
Just
whatever, dude.
just try
You've
it."
been given the option, just do it. Like, what do
Yeah.
you have to lose? Who cares?
There is so much in my life where people are like, "Can you do this? Can you try to do this thing?" I'm like, "Yes." And in the back of my head, I'm like, "How? How? How do I do this thing? I don't
Yeah,
know how
right?
to do this thing."
Yeah, I'm like, "You know what? We will make it work, whatever you need me to do. I don't care. I will learn and I will find a way to do it." Um, but yeah, actually, that's a good way to transition into the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, which is let's talk about the actual process of your content, for instance, because like we were talking off screen about like a bunch of things, and I was like, this seems like good stuff to actually put on screen instead.
Mhm.
Like for instance, um, like we were discussing your lighting and your microphone and stuff like, but it's more. I think the issue is like how to Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah. So, it's Instagram and TikTok is forever a fickle thing.
Mm,
And so, like, a lot of people who want to do short form content don't realize that they already have it if they're long
mm,
form content creators. And one of the best ways to think about it, if you are a long form creator going into short form content, is you are trying to create a highlight reel of like,
mm.
if you can think of a moment that you thought was great and everything, shorten that down into just a quick little thing and post it. And if you're trying to learn how to do shorts like me, you have a lot of practice ahead of you. Because like you guys are now seeing, the side of content creation where it has worked out for me. But I've technically been doing content creation for like 7 years at this point.
Mm.
All of which I had to do like the awkward growing pains. How do I do cuts? How do I do edits? How do I do
Yes.
lighting? And like all these like little incremental failures, which transition into little incremental changes, which result into what you see today.
Mm.
Um, and this is the greatest secret and the best thing about like short form content creation is that during that growing pain period where you get the low views and you get like, no real like recognition or anything like that, great. That means nobody saw you messing up. That means that means barely anybody knows you exist in this awkward moment.
Amen. Do me a
Like,
favor and back away from your mic a bit. Not you don't need to be all the way back, but it's just like when you get a little close, it gets a little
I'm
hot.
loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like you have to keep on like watching yourself over and over again. I don't understand because I was talking to like my good friend Kuro and a couple of other people, and they're like, yeah, I make the content, I post it, and I never look at it again. I'm like, what do you mean you never look at it again? Like, yeah, I never look at it again. Like, no, you sit down and you watch yourself over and over again and be like, oh well, what did I like about this? What didn't I like about this? What could I have done differently? Where did it not hit for me? And so, like, any of my videos, granted, they're only, like, 20, 30 seconds at best, I watch, like, 50 times over
Mm.
and over again. Now, this is after posting it, because if I just watch it over again, I won't post it because I'll get in my head about it. But I'll sit there and be like, "Well, you know, I could have done this. I could have done that." Like, and so a lot of people shy away from the coulda, woulda, shouldas. I lean into them really, really hard because, like, in those moments, like maybe I don't transition it perfectly to the next video, but it improves a little bit and a little bit more. And so those are the things that you have to look out for because you have 30 seconds of being live. You have to get everything you possibly can out of those 30 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like my problem is that all of my videos are long form. They're conversations. And one of the things I'm trying to do is get a way to just clip out chunks out of it and put it in there. But like once I finish the editing and putting it up, I don't want to go back and re-listen to it. So I
Yeah.
need to just like I need to just pay somebody to do this for me.
Yes, and that's when it
I,
comes to long form going to short form, having others help you out, that's it's vital. It's entirely vital. Like, my partner, Maltown, has multiple editors that help him out with that because, like, he cannot keep up with all of his long form content and all of his streams and things like that. It would drive you literally insane. You would not be seeing the light of day if you were to do that.
yes. I mean, thanks to my editor Dan, this gets up on YouTube at all. Thank you, Dan. Love you very much. And to EK for getting me on the YouTube in the first place. Always love for EK. Uh, but yeah, like we need to get Shivam and Wheeler on YouTube because it's just funny and it's but two idiots talking about magic.
Yeah.
But we're lazy because we both have ADHD and we're slow. But like that's coming. That's coming. But it's
Mhm.
I'm also trying to branch out and develop my own system now because I'm like, you know what? I got to the point where I'm like, I've been doing this for 10 more many years as just kind of a side gig and hobby. But I'm like, I have 3 podcasts and very successful all the things. Maybe this is just the thing I do
Yeah.
and not just a side gig. And so I'm like, okay, let me reach out to all of my friends who do this and ask them how they do this. And I don't want I'm not trying to ask you this standard like, oh, how do you come up with your ideas? Who cares? That's the if you don't have ideas, then somebody telling you how to make ideas is not going to help you.
Mhm.
But it's more of the like and like the discipline part isn't the problem either because like I've been putting out a podcast every Tuesday for since 2000 since I started, and it's because like you need those are two things you need. You need an idea and you need like disciplinary rigor to actually do the thing.
Mhm.
The trick is like short form versus long form is a different animal. And like you have to do a lot more quick cuts, you have to do a lot more editing, you have to do a lot more like do you do your own editing? Do you like what do
Oh,
you
all of
use
it.
to do that?
All of my editing is my own.
Like
I there's actually multiple different programs that I layer on top of one another, but I mainly use CapCut. I'm currently seeking out a better thing.
mm,
If I tried to do all of my short form content from my phone to my PC, I would lose my mind.
yeah.
So it's all on my phone. Luckily, when I was like in middle school, like I was part of the video club, so
Wait,
I
you do
had
all your stuff on your phone?
yeah. Everything.
I am too old for this.
Everything is done on my phone because the other thing is that like I cannot be I would never be able to work an office job because sitting in a chair that I can't just like flop around in like weird positions essentially and like just like lazily eat snacks as I'm editing, I would get nothing done.
Mm,
So having it on my phone for my short form content is one of the easiest things for me.
mm.
And we have the technology now.
Yeah, that's like Cass has been yelling at me for years that I could just do my daily Scryfall my Scryfall randoms that I do and just do it on TikTok. It takes 10 seconds, put a phone over here and just go like, "Hey guys, today's Scryfall random is Soul Ring." Click and you're done. And I'm like, I I don't understand what?
Yes, so that's where going down the painful path of learning how to self-edit
Mm,
starts. And so the thing is that there are all these little like very much like anybody who is like very like fluent in like keyboard, right? They have a bunch of shortcuts that they know in order to
yeah.
like work with like Excel. It's the same exact thing but for your phone. So you will learn all these shortcuts to be like, okay, click, I got the card image. Now I will quote unquote green screen myself over the card and do a quick video. And so like once you get those down, then it's very quick to do. But then it's the growing pains, it's the learning how part. So that's where you're gonna
Yes.
need to lean in like, on like quite a few people being like, hey, this is what I want to start doing. This is how. How do you do it? Please, please tell me how do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, because like that's the thing. Like I watch you doing like box openings and things. I'm like, I could do that, and I have all these packs that are just sitting around.
Yes.
Like that was the thing. Like, you know what's funny? The original plan was I was going to start at the beginning of this year with Aether Drift because I got to work on that set, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to be so excited. We're going to open this and everything. And then the election happened, and then the mood was, let's say, not as celebratory as I could have wanted it to
Yeah.
be. And it was really hard for me to want to just open packs and like show off these things because like
It's just
reasons.
rough. It's just rough.
It was not the best time for anybody's mental health.
Mhm.
Um, but uh, I want to do this, so I'm like, oh, I should do that. My store owner in Pacifica was like, dude, just come here. I have to open these goddamn boxes anyways. Just put a camera on and talk about them while you do it. Happy birthday. And I'm like, I should just do that.
Yes. Honestly, and that's where your practice begins.
Yeah.
So, and like if you have the opportunities, like take them. And it's going to be awkward and it's going to suck. And then you're going to look back at it one day and just be like, dang, that's where it began.
Why was I so bad at this?
Yeah.
I've done it for years. It's funny, you're like, and that's where your practice begins. I'm like, what is this, Zen meditation? What is going on? But it is though, right?
Mhm.
Like it is. It's like when you start meditating or doing yoga or whatever, you suck. And
Yes.
you're like, you're in your head going like, why am I doing this? This is garbage and I hate everything. And then like 3 years later, you're just like not thinking
Yeah.
that. And you're
I
just in that space.
That's where I have to like kind of think because like I used to do martial arts. I've read, the Tao, the Bhagavad Gita, like all kinds of different things to like really lock in like
Mm,
what is my anxiety, where does it come from, and where do I learn my practice
mm,
about who I am and what do I want to do for myself and thus for the world, right?
yeah.
And like when you lock in your center that way, these growing pains and these parts of your life that are hard to look at because you have to look at yourself closely while you're doing these things become moments of joy. You start falling in love with your failures
Mm.
and you start giggling at your failures and finding joy at your failures. Like there's still like to this day, like you guys don't see it, but like I'll film a video and I'll just be like, what? This
What was
looks so
that? Why
stupid.
did
Who
I do
was
that?
that? There was like, oh, I was doing a skit with my partner. And like, so I do have a speech impediment, which is one of the reasons why my face is so animated, is because I have to stretch back my jaw to avoid all my lips and all my stumbling over my words.
Huh.
Um, and so I could not pronounce cryptolith right.
That is not an easy word to say.
Yeah.
It's like slick shot show off.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you do this to me?
And so, like, I'm trying to speak fast and just saying "quiptowifight."
Crypto
Quip
with white.
quiptowifight. And so it was literally an hour of, like, doing stuff like that. Like, the practice never stops. It never stops. The stumbling, it never stops. But it's the parts that make you human, and it's the parts that make it really fun because if you did not have this hill to climb, whether it's, big one day or small the other, what's the point of seeing yourself at the top?
Hmm.
What's the joy behind it?
Mhm.
Like when I finally get to produce a video, I go like, "Wow, I did that."
I have gone back and listened to some of my very first conversations with people and or some of my old podcasts, and I'm like, wow, I was real self-conscious or whatever it
Yes.
was. But it's just like, you know what? There's a naturalness that comes with it. And then once the flow becomes very like once you get into the flow, it's very easy for you to just kind of like live in there and be like, ah, yes. Like it is hard to see growth when you're in the growth,
Mhm.
right? Like you cannot see where you've been because you're in this cloud still, right? Like
Mhm.
it's tricky. But then like I don't know what hammered it home for me was when I was like in Amsterdam and people waited in line to see me or whatever, and I'm like, oh.
Yes. I and like that's like it you will get to those moments where suddenly things like click and you're like, "Oh, I've done it." And like it's funny because like for me, like my like I've done it moment was like simply when the very first time somebody came to ask for a signature from me.
Hmm.
And that was it. I was just like, "I've done it. We're good.
Right,
We're
right.
just like this, like I've made it and everything." And then all of a sudden, like there's like a new mountaintop to climb, not with yourself, but like with other people. Just like, okay, well, maybe let's just keep doing this and see where it goes and what happens. And all of a sudden I got invited by Loading Ready Run to Canada. And like
Right.
I grew up in like a household that like traveling to other countries was like a terrifying thing to do. It's like a no thing to do. Like we're too poor and like unaware and like you can get kidnapped. You'll definitely get kidnapped
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing. And I'm like, I remember like telling my parents like, hey, I'm going to Canada by myself. See you later. And they're like, have you ever met these people? I'm like, online I did. And of
I'm
course,
gonna go meet
panic.
my boyfriend in Canada. Yeah, okay, okay.
And so like things like that happening, and then like going to Amsterdam for a card game.
Right,
Never thought I would be going
right.
overseas, period. Like
When someone like from Latvia is like, "Hey, man, I listened to your thing," and I'm like, "In Latvia?" Like, they know who I am in Latvia. Like that is a far. He's like, "It's not that far from here, buddy. We have the internet." And I'm like, "Fair."
Good point. Or it's just like when I was in Amsterdam, just like these incredibly pleasant, funny people, and they're like, I have been dying to play Flip It or Rip It with you. I'm
Oh,
like, what
Jesus
do you
Christ.
mean? What do you
I'm wagging my finger at you.
it's I don't like it either. It's just like, but if people are gonna come to me with a pack that they bought and be like, I've been dreaming of doing this with you, who am I to say no at this point?
Oh my god. Um, when I was thinking about you recently, it's because I now have an infinite stash of pu'er tea in my house
Yes.
because you took me to the Holy Land in Santa Cruz, showed
Mhm.
me this stupid tea shop, and now I've just got infinite trillion friggin' grams of pu'er all over the place.
Yes, I love and like for anybody who's listening and being like, are they saying pu'er? Yes, we're saying pu'er. It's a very, very good tea.
It is the
Um,
king of teas.
it is the king of teas. It is this tea, if properly aged and monitored, can go for like thousands and thousands of dollars. And it's so soothing. But I think about that day often when I dragged you all to that tea shop. And I'm like, we're gonna go to this tea shop. It's no technology is allowed. We're not allowed to be on our phones in this tea shop. The shop owner and all the workers are very pleasant. Like you get into this whole other space that is just so intimate and like intentional.
Mhm.
And playing Magic the Gathering on this like beautiful, like
Living wood.
living wood table.
Oh, yeah. I remember too, it was like I was using there was an AFR precon that was the black red guy who exiled stuff off the top of his list.
Prosper.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
it was
that deck was
broken. It
nutters.
was so crazy.
It was so much fun. But we sat and we drank so much tea and
Yes.
had so many snacks and played so much just very chill. I want to play Magic and drink tea basically forever. That is like all I want to do. And with the Santa Cruz breeze coming down, oh my god, it
It was
was it
beautiful.
was so
And then
good.
it's just like and then I remember, like, the tea shop closed for the day because they closed around 5. We're like, "Oh, we're gonna keep this going." And there's, like, this, like, multiple market food court that we went to, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, we were surrounded by, like, furries and a ska band playing ska covers of Mario Brothers.
Yes.
And, like, you were like, "What is happening?" And I'm
Yeah,
just
because I
like,
remember we went to like the game store that was there, and I bought you and me the lavender sleeves that were there. Because I
"Yes."
remember because I use those for my Nira deck right now, and it was just like, man, that was such a good trip.
It was
God
such
damn.
a good day.
Yes. Oh, I love it. But because of you though, I now have like the biggest addiction to just like old tea.
Yeah.
Dude, I wish you were here, but you had moved already by that point. But my partner had like for her birthday party had a tea party where we had 16 or 17 different teas brewed. I made I made full on tea sandwiches in like British style tea service. Like I baked the bread and I did all it was insane.
Oh.
It was so good.
I there is something about having tea with your friends that is so good, and this is one of the reasons why originally, I was known as Barista Witchcraft on the website,
Mm,
on the web, on the World Wide Web when I first started content creation, because there was something about coffee and tea that I was so drawn to it on how it brought people together and how like you got to like be in such a peaceful space with other people and learn who they are and what their dreams and what their aspirations are, and like that is what fuels me in this world, is like seeing other people like find their glimmer essentially.
mm.
um and I that's why I fell in love with coffee. I just, like, owned a coffee shop for a long time and then started I all of these different pop-up coffee shops in the Bay Area, I helped, like, get their start, essentially, like, build out their bar and, like, their menu and their program because, like, stuff like that is so vital to growing yourself as a person in your community. And so, like, you coming out to, like, being like, "Hey, I have no idea what this tea is, but I trust you." And then, like, having the time of your life, like, just, like, meant the world to me, and it's just like and
I
it's
mean,
like having all these different groups of friends from different walks of life meet
yeah.
one another, and then they're like, "Oh, I like you, let's keep hanging out," and then growing your circle from
Yes.
there. Like,
Yes.
I think that's also why, like, magic really, like, spoke to me because in that sense, it's very much like coffee and tea together.
Mhm, mhm. And to be fair, I did know. I mean, it wasn't that I was unfamiliar with tea, but I was unfamiliar with pu'er because I was like, I'm
Yes.
an oolong guy or cha or whatever. And here's the thing, like, I'll just tell you guys, if you try to make cha with like good teas, it's going to be a very bad experience because cha. The whole point is the spices, the masalas, the milk, and everything you put in there, and the tea needs to be like rubber shavings and like filings of asphalt, right? Like it needs to be
Yeah.
garbage tea.
There's a reason there's all kinds of spices in there.
Yeah, like, dude, if you're using, like, good tea, like oolong stuff, it's like, what a waste, and also the flavor does not match at all. But,
No.
dude, when you took me and you're like, "So this is a 40-year-old brick of fermented tea that we're gonna drink." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" It's just like,
Fermented tea?
it looked like a cow patty. It was just like a big block of, like, and I'm like, "It's old vegetable material. You cannot be true telling me this is what we're gonna be drinking."
Yeah. I'm like, "No, trust me," and then they serve it to you in these literal bowls instead of,
Oh my
like,
god,
little
it's so good.
delicate teas.
Oh, I've been back to that shop like a dozen times, and I'm just like, this is the way. Um, yeah, dude. I don't know. Playing tea and drinking tea and playing Magic is kind of like it's hard to top that. That's like
Yes.
that's the way.
Is my absolute favorite thing. This is also, like I when I was leaving Loading Ready Run, like, James brought me to the tea house there. I'm like, "This is you're my new best friend." Like, it's yes, this is exactly what's supposed to happen.
Also, tell me that going to the PPR is not like the best thing in the world.
I was losing my mind, first off, like, if I was just like especially, like okay, first off, the rickety plane that you have to fly into to get to that
Oh yeah, like
area.
you're like, hey, you live on an island and there's literally no way to get here but an hour and a half boat ride or taking like somebody's like homemade plane.
Yes, and I'm like, "I don't understand what's going on." Oh, I this is one of my favorite stories. On my way over to, Loading Ready Run, I was like I had my first few deals with, like, Ultra Pro and other things, so I was, like, starting to get paid for my content, and I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna get myself a treat as, like, I'm making it, this is happening for me, and it's something from Canada." I'm like, "I'm gonna get myself a nice set of headphones." And I'm like, I've always wanted to get, like, some headphones from, like, those, like, vending machines, like, at the airport because I just thought it was just so funny. I'm like,
Mhm.
"Heck yeah, I'm gonna do that." And so, like, I spent, like, hundreds of dollars on these very nice headphones, which, like, need them for editing,
Sure.
honestly. Um, and it got stuck in the machine.
Oh.
So there's these, like, hundreds of dollars headphones awkwardly at the base of the machine in the Canadian airport that I'm supposed to get on this rickety plane to fly to Loading Ready Run to, and then there's me shoving my arm up the machine, desperately trying to get it out, and I'm like, "They're gonna arrest me. They're gonna arrest me. I'm gonna get arrested
You're
before I
gonna
even
get
get into
deported.
Canada."
Oh my god. Yeah, and it's not like there's a vending machine guy in the airport, right?
No!
Like
And there was only, like, 10 minutes left to get to my gate, so I'm sitting there just like, "No, no, 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 no.
get
This
wrecked.
can't be." And so, like, I get there, like, they also the fact that they can walk into the airport to pick you up blew my mind. I'm like, "This is
Not
insanity."
America anymore.
No. And, like, I was so tired, they were such sweethearts to me, but it was just, like, the best of time, like, hanging out with everybody and, like, talking about, like, magic. I'm just like, "Oh my god, like, we're doing this. I'm doing this. This is so cool." And just seeing that caliber of, like, content creation
Right?
behind games and just being like, "Oh my god, you can there's a whole career behind
Oh
this. This
yeah.
isn't just a, like" that was, like another like changing moment where I'm just like, this is, you can make this your livelihood. Like,
Dude,
it's not just your passion.
there's a reason why I call it going to the PPR seeing the promised land, because it literally is. You're like, oh my God, here's a group of people who are really good friends, who enjoy each other's company and love working together, who have multiple studios and a gigantic, like full on professional setup. And they do the same thing I do, except better in every regard. And it's
Yeah.
just like, it feels like my favorite novel of all time is a story called Jonathan Livingston Seagull, which, if you haven't read, is a parable of Buddhism. It was written in the 70s. It's very short, and you absolutely should read it if you haven't read it. But basically, it's about this seagull who's living on this beach, and he's tired of just hunting for fish every day and just being a seagull. And he's like, there's got to be something more to life than this. So he trains himself how to fly really, really well, and flies really, really high where the eagles are, and zooms down through the flock to get. And they're like, you are insane, and you're going to kill us. Get out of here. And this dude basically is trying so hard to become better than himself that he goes and he slams down and dies upon impact on hitting the ocean. Because if you'd fly for at
Oh
terminal
yeah, then it's
velocity,
suddenly
you just
concrete.
GG's. And basically he wakes up and he's like, wow, is this heaven? He's like, no, but generally we try not to drill through the holes of reality to get to the next stage. We'll work on that. But he gets up and he wakes up and he sees this glowing being who's like, hey dude, welcome to the next stage of existence. You're here to learn more. And that's what I realized with LRR is we're at this stage of existence of content creation or doing whatever it is. They're the next stage and ascending to that. And you're like, oh, I thought it was going to be easy. No, you still have to work and you still have to learn.
Yeah.
But this world exists now. And so when you come back to this one that we're here, it's like, I can attain that. I just got to work and change. And it's like, oh man, it's
It's
turbo Buddhism. I love it.
exactly that, where it's like, so I was constantly asking them questions, and James took us all over, this is where I grew up, this was our college that we dropped out of,
Yeah, right.
yada yada yada. And I'm like, how, tell me your story. And it truly drills down to, well, why not? And it's just like, well, why not try? Why not? There is so much to this world that ultimately, if you fail, cool, you at least tried, I go there was a time where being at the top of the hill for coffee, right? I was my
Mm.
own person, I had my own brand and everything, and I willingly walked out to just become a barista again. I just that's possible. If it doesn't work out, you still grew skills to do something else, or there's still other things in this world that you can do. And it's just people are going to call you crazy or
Mm-hmm.
not believe in you and whatever, and that's not the point. The point is you doing the things that you want to do. This is also this ties into another thing, because I have a lot of women and femmes reach out to me and they're like, how do you do it?
Mm.
How do you do it? I could never, I'm too afraid, there's all this judgment, there's all of these, people being mean or vile, whatever. I'm just like, okay, first off, they're going to be mean and vile to you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to be, I tried to be digestible. I tried to be small. I tried to do everything that they said, hey, we're not going to respect you unless you do these things. And ultimately what it actually was is, we don't respect you if we can see you. The only
Right.
time I will respect you is if you are quiet. And I can't live that way.
And it's also really, what the hell kind of ask is that? It's
Yeah.
the only way I will respect you is if you minimize yourself to being non-existent, do what I need, and then leave. And I'm like,
Yes.
that doesn't sound like respect. That sounds like servitude.
Yes.
It's
Servitude
like,
and control. And there's just one of the number one things that they do is I don't know how, and I'm still very new to this. And I'm like, you understand that there are people that wake up, have played this game for 3 months, and they're like, I'm going to start making content off of this.
dude, I was up at the PPR recently with Magic New Girl, who literally started with freaking All Will Be One. Phyrexia, All Will Be One. That
Yes.
was that's still even standard legal. Well, maybe not standard legal, but it's literally within living memory standard legal, right?
Yes.
Months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, I've still got unsorted piles of it sitting on my desk. That's how new it is. And I'm like, wow, dude, you literally just started and you're already making content and doing thing and all that. I'm like, you don't need to be playing here forever. You don't need to be like me or Luis Scott Vargas or somebody who's 1,000 years old. You just need to be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to turn on my phone and talk to it for 10 seconds and post. GG's.
Yes, exactly. And that's there's so much. a lot of people put so much pressure on themselves of just like, well, I have to be perfect. I'm like, no, no,
No.
you really truly don't. Like, there's still things in Magic that I don't understand. That's one of my favorite things about the game is I'm still learning interactions and things like that. Super cool things that can happen. That's one of the reasons we love the game so much. But the creation is the act of creation, not the result of creation. It's just like you have to just do it. You have to
Yes.
just do it.
When I was starting out, I remember Josh and Jimmy would get this question a lot on early episodes of Command Zone. Like people would be like, "Oh man, what camera do I need to use? What microphone do I use?" And they're like, "It doesn't matter. What matters is plugging in whatever crap you have, turning it on, and putting something into the world.
Yes.
Once you do that, the rest of it will follow. But if you just fetishize the tech before you get there, then
Yes.
you're not actually creating. You're just giving yourself more excuses to not turn on the plug and just do something. Like doing this podcast and putting it out every week is like it's not easy.
No.
It's not easy. But it's also just like, look, man, if I stop doing this, I started this by literally calling Andrew and saying, "Hey, man, I need a guest for this show. I want to start doing an interview podcast. You want to be on?" He's like, "Sure." And we did it, and we came
Yeah.
over and we taped and we put it out, and it was episode 1 or 2, and that was just it. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I just need to get more people to talk to,
Yes.
and like it's you got to what you need is not stuff. What you need is the ability to make an idiot out of yourself and be like, yeah,
Mhm.
let's go do that again.
Yeah.
you know?
It's like and this also falls into I see a lot of people, like, when they start getting into content creation around Magic the Gathering, they're like, "You know what? I'm gonna get into CDH, I'm gonna be really good at it." And I'm like,
Okay.
"Okay, why?" And they're like, "Well, then I know what I'm doing." And I'm like, "That's gonna take a while." And they're like, "Yeah, but people will take me seriously." I'm like, "Oh, so you're doing it for other people, not for what you want to actually see in the world or what you actually like that's being afraid or over validating like external like confidence is not your confidence and that's just going to keep you from doing this thing
Mhm,
that
mhm.
you're wanting to do. You have to just do it and be okay with like getting things wrong or messing up. And like that's like one of my favorite things about like when I play Arena live, I specifically say, "Hey, you watch me to know exactly what not to do."
Well, it's like
That's
they're
what this
watching
is
you for
about.
you. They're not watching you for to see how to win. If they wanted to do that, they would watch Reed Duke, right? Like they
Yeah.
like that's the thing. It's like wanna you've gotta be willing to just sit there and realize, like, you can't focus group your way into this. Like, you can't sit there and say, like, "What do people want? They must want Commander at home gameplay content." No. Like, there are people already doing that. What are you doing
Mhm.
that's you? What are you doing that's interesting, that's unique? Like, that's why I'm not even gonna be streaming Magic.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be streaming Civilization because it's a thing that's interesting and fun to me, and not a lot of people are doing it. And also, like, why should I compete with freaking Josh and Jimmy and the Professor? Like,
Yeah.
that's not like I've got these shows to do magic stuff. I'm going to do something else, or like Final Fantasy. I don't know, whatever. I'll figure that out when I get there. But
Mhm.
it's more like it's like have that confidence to just turn the camera on and just go and figure it out as you go.
Yeah. It's gonna be bad.
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
be
suck.
bad. Oh yeah.
It's not gonna look good, but it's the practice.
You know what? Like that's the only way. It's like someone asked Luis, like, how do you get good at like drafting? It's like lose a lot. Lose
Yes.
a lot and then look at how you lost and think about like what did I do? And then you're like, "Oh, I should have taken this card instead." It's all just like every loss teaches you something.
Mhm.
And that's like kind of how you got to do it.
Yeah, and that's, when I helped Gamelandia, which is this wonderful LGS in the Bay Area, kinda like, open their doors to the public. I helped them, like, create policies, yada, 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 and then, like, they were like, "Hey, do you wanna help teach Magic one day?" I'm like, "Heck yeah, I do." And,
Mm.
like, the very first thing I said to all of my students was, "You're not gonna understand. You're not gonna understand until it happens to you." Like,
Mm.
you just it is the act of failure that you learn Magic the Gathering. And like when I play with like relatively new players, they're like, how did you know this was going to happen or things like that? I'm like, because I'll never forget when I got hit in the face with an unstoppable 2020 that suddenly appeared out of freaking nowhere. Like, that's how. When I got my shins absolutely kicked in.
Right,
Like,
right. Dude, one of the most edifying moments in my Magic career. There's a dude named David Ochoa who is one of the greatest players of all time. He's not in the Hall of Fame, but he's Hall of Fame adjacent. He's vintage master. Right now, he's so good at Magic that he's quit Magic entirely because he's like, there's nobody who gives me any competition. So he went to become a bread baker, and his bread is insanely good. But that's a different story entirely. But I played against him once. We were playing mini masters where you just open a pack and you add 15 lands, three of each type, and you just play these packs against each other. And we were playing with Innistrad Original, and he thrashed me within an inch of my life like I've never been thrashed before. And I'm like, we're literally playing with one booster pack of random garbage, and you still just skinned me and, turned me into a flag for the back of your car. Like, I don't understand what happened. Like, and he wasn't even looking. It's like the one time I played a game of Street Fighter against Justin Wong. Justin Wong is one of the greatest Street Fighter players of all time. He had a booth at PAX one year where he would just like, come and play Justin Wong. It's like one of those weird things where like the booth is advertising, so they've got him sitting there. He's got a fight stick and a TV. And I sit down and I'm like, this is like one of my heroes. This is one of the greatest Street Fighter players of all time. I'm going to show him that I know even anything at all. He did not look at me once. He was having a conversation with somebody off to the side. He was looking at the TV out of the corner of his eyes, one hand on the fight stick, and dismantled me. I was playing the lights out best of my ability that I've ever played in my life, the best possible Street Fighter I know how to play, and I did not even scratch.
yeah.
Like, and he was like, oh my God, this is the greatest moment of my life.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
It's just like, it's those moments. It's those moments where you have to recognize that's like those people got there from just immense amounts of failure, but just simply not giving up. It's kind of, we can actually quickly tie this into like my cosplaying, which like I haven't done a lot, but I've done
like
it.
I see you like sewing all the time.
Yeah. So I only first started learning how to sew. I think now we're at like the 2-year mark.
Jeez.
So I haven't even been at it so long. But the very first time that I sewed, I was just like, okay, I'm going to take some scrap clothing and I'm just going to make like a tank top. That's it. Like I'm going to start with the simple, like just the simple things. I sewed that thing entirely. And I'm like, excellent. I did it. This is great. And then I realized I sewed the armholes closed. I sewed the neckline closed. It was basically a pillow that I couldn't get into. And I was so confident too. I'm like, oh my God, I did it. First try. Let's go. Oh, I got a little pillow for my couch. Excellent.
Like, yeah.
Like that's how it begins.
Right.
And it's just like the stitches were all zigzagged and everywhere. Like it definitely looked like abstract art tank top.
Oh my God. I just remember, I don't remember which con it was, but I ran into you and you were wearing Massacre Girl, and I go in for a hug and you just spiked me in the chin, and I'm like, good to know.
I'm very well known at this part for wearing particularly spiky cosplays, mainly because of Massacre Girl. But goodness gracious, like cosplaying has been absolutely, I've always wanted to learn how to cosplay. I just never had the resources for it. Like I've always been living paycheck to paycheck, like unable to get like any other items or things like that. And luckily I come from a family who's really good at like scouring for resources. Like my dad, as we were growing up, would go dumpster diving with us to find things to like build things out of, and like, various other things. So like I became very resourceful. But sticking to it, it suddenly starts to gain momentum to where you can do things more and more. And like this is like beyond my wildest dreams. I was just doing cosplay for the sake of like going to a con and like representing a character that I loved, or like, and for the very first time actually since I've been playing games, saw a character that looked like me as well. And I'm like, oh my God, I can cosplay that character like to the fullest extent. I never thought that I would get to a point where I can do it professionally. And so all these little things like of just at least trying
Mm.
resulted in one day Wizards being like, "Hey, can you be our mascot girl?" I'm just like,
Mm.
what? And like at this point, like the new versions of her wasn't revealed to me yet, and like this is another version of just do it. You're gonna have to throw everything that you got into doing it if you truly don't know how to do it, but just do
Mhm.
it. I still didn't fully know how to sew
Oh, no.
at that point. Like I had not worked with like pleather fully or spandex or any of those things, and I'm just like, well, I had made Daihata. I managed to make my way through that. So let's give it a go. And if all else fails, they're
Well.
paying me, so I can go ahead and pay somebody else to do it. And it's just like if that turns out into a net negative or a net zero, then fine. At least I said yes and gave myself the chance.
Right.
And my friends did not see me for months. Literal months. It was like days and nights of me living in the garage. I didn't even go to like my own room those nights because I would like be sewing and be like, dang, I'm getting a little tired. Still kept sewing. I'm like, wow, I'm really getting tired. And then would wake up underneath my desk. Like learning and practicing all of these things to make
Yeah, but
Master
like
Girl.
also that is a little bit of a ridiculous project to be like, okay, I'm going to just jump into this. It's like, hey, you know what? I used to make like airplane models in my house. Okay, great. Build a Corvette. Like
Yeah.
what?
All right.
It's like sure, why not, buddy?
It was I just get so the thing that inspired me is that I have always seen just like the audacity of the way that like men get to be raised essentially of
Mm,
just saying yes to these crazy projects and like stumbling along the way. And like quite oftentimes like various managers like they would accept the position and like I would have to clean up after them. I'm just be like, well, if the world accepts this, then I can do something full of audacity as well. And that has gotten me so far along in life when I just said, you know what? Just do it.
have the
Just
confidence of a
try.
mediocre white man, right? Like,
Yes. Yes. And that has gotten me so far in life where I'm just like, yeah. Yeah, sure.
like whatever, man. I was like, you know what? That's the thing. Just say yes a lot more.
Hmm.
Just say yes. Give it a shot. If you fail, you failed. GG's.
Yeah, whether it's to opportunities that come your way or things that you just want to do. Say yes to yourself more.
Yeah, seriously.
Like it's the biggest change that you can do in your life.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good place to call this, I think. That's a great message to end on. Thank you so much for coming on. It's so good to see you again. I miss you so much. And I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you're just like thriving. Um, if folks wanted to find your stuff, where could they go?
Oh yes. So the handle is ZMainCharacter, like the main character of a story. I am mainly on TikTok and Instagram. You can find me on Blue Sky as well. I'm trying to get YouTube started. YouTube scares me. See, I even have my own instances of being
Mm,
doing content elsewhere. But that's where you can find me. I'm usually at most of the Magic Cons running around in some sort of cosplay. Just making funny little videos.
yeah, you and I didn't get to go to Vegas this time around, alas, but there's always Atlanta and every other MagicCon.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, seriously. Anyways, my friends, you can always find me at Blue Sky at Shivam Bhatt. You can find me on YouTube. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are sold or at YouTube. Thanks to my editor, Dan. You can also hear me on Shivam and Wheeler Love Magic or the Chronicles of Dragonlance podcast. And remember, my friends, it's not magic without the gathering, and we'll see you next time.